On this episode of Time About the Movies, we begin the month of August with not a very good show in general, at least with the bigger movies. We have a classic Arnold Schwarzenegger film from the 90s getting a reboot for the 2010s, and boy, did it suffer big time. We're going to talk about the infamously bad remake of Total Recall. And, want more bad stuff? Here's another Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, Diary of a Wimpy Kid Dog Days. And we'll at least end the show on a positive note with Rashida Jones and Andy Samberg in the romantic comedy Celeste and Jesse Forever. So, August 3rd, 2012, Time About the Movies, let's go.
To recall.
Tell us your fantasy. We'll give you the memory. Oh my God. Why did they try to kill me?
Your mind was implanted with a life you think you've lived.
God, not me. Not my mind. Total Recall. The future depends on what you do next.
I believe this movie should be called Total Recall, a film by Len Wiseman that also features his wife, Kate Beckinsale. We mentioned that Kate Beckinsale is married to Len Wiseman. If you haven't figured it out yet, don't trust me. When you watch this movie, you're going to know that she's married to the director because she is all over this effing movie, and not in a good way. Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. Today we are taking a look at the three films that make up August 3rd. How about that? August 3rd, 2012. And we're starting off with the remake of Total Recall. And this is, of course, a remake of the 1990 Arnold Schwarzenegger film, which in and of itself was inspired by the short story by Philip K. Dick. We Can Remember It For You wholesale. And in this version, it's very much the same storyline, except this time around, it's set on a futuristic Earth, not Mars. But it essentially has the same kind of premise overall, except this time, the land has been... chemical warfare has basically devastated the Earth. The only habitable land left is two areas, the United Federation of Britain and the colony spanning all of Australia. So in other words, America is pretty much fucking gone at this point, which, considering where we are in the political war right now, that's probably a possibility in the future. But like in the other movie, you have Douglas Quaid, now played by Colin Farrell, who's a factory worker with a stable job and a loving wife, played by Kate Beckinsale. But upon learning that there's a company called Recall that can grant him the memories of the ultimate espionage adventure, he decides to take a virtual vacation. But in the midst of having new memories implanted, something goes haywire. He's branded as a spy, the authorities close in, and he's quickly fleeing for his life. Later, Quaid discovers that his life and memories were implanted, and he joins forces with a rebel soldier, played by Jessica Biel, on a mission to track down Matthias, played by Bill Nighy, the head of a resistance movement that's been labeled as a terrorist organization by the tyrannical Chancellor Cohagen, played by Bryan Cranston. Cohagen seeks to control the free world. The harder Quaid fights to defeat him, the clearer it becomes that his memory has been altered long before he walked into Recall. So, the original Total Recall was a movie that was very silly, but it was the fun kind of silly. It was a silly that worked to Paul Verhoeven's advantages as that director. It was a smart movie, it was satirical, it was funny, it was action-packed. It delivered everything you needed to give you a fun movie overall. Even if it wasn't anything like the book it was, or the short story it was based off of, it was still a great movie regardless. So it makes perfect sense for a studio like Sony to take a look at Total Recall and say, you know what we need to do? Let's get the director of Underworld to completely destroy everything that made the original movie a great film, and let's put more emphasis on the wife of Colin Farrell because the director is banging her. That really is one of the biggest problems of this movie. It's the fact that one of the main characters in this is Kate Beckinsale as kind of another villain here, because now we have three villains in this movie now. We have Cohagen, we have Matthias, and now we have Colin Farrell's wife in here. Because I mean, literally, they take the Resident Evil approach with this, because Paul W.S. Anderson's banging Mila Jovovich, so that means we gotta put her at the main focus of the movie. Here she goes again. Here he goes. Len Wiseman goes with this film. But here's the thing, though. With Resident Evil, it makes sense, because Alice is the main character of that storyline. Hell, Len Wiseman did with the Underworld movies. Again, it makes sense, because she's the main character of that movie. You're taking a character that was a supporting character, but a big supporting character that was killed halfway through the movie. And they decided to upgrade it because, again, Beckinsale's banging the director. And it's just like, there's no reason for her to have a longer storyline in this than she does here. I mean, this character becomes so obnoxious, so annoying every time she comes on screen. Like, it's one of the things that made me just... It frustrates me every time I see it because she adds nothing to the new additions to the storyline here. This movie adds way too much stuff in here to pad out this runtime so much longer. The critical scene in the original Total Recall is there's a point in the movie where, Arnold Schwarzenegger is being told by one of the guys who runs Recall that, you're living in you're back at Recall. This isn't really happening right now. He's about to take this red pill, and he thinks that he's making coherent arguments to him to do this. But then he realizes and looks very closely and sees that this is part of a fake thing, and basically just shoots his wife and all that. Like, that's a scene that takes about 5-10 minutes. The scene in this movie is twice that long, and it's nothing but people just arguing about, it's his best friend Bokeem Woodbine basically telling him, you're back at Recall, man. And it's just like, it keeps going on and on and on and on. It's just like, this thing goes on for nearly 20 minutes. 20 minutes of this movie is wasted on this fucking scene. And it's just kind of like, you've taken the most pivotal point of the first movie and have completely ruined it by just stretching it out for no reason whatsoever. Again, this is a scene that could easily be wrapped up in 5 to 10 minutes like the original film, but no, you want to add your own layer to it. You want to be cool with the kids, and guess what? It didn't fucking work. The original movie had this nice, glossy, grotesque feel to it that felt like its own world. Like, it didn't feel like the same world that came from Philip K. Dick's other more successful sci-fi film at that time, Blade Runner. But in this movie, this remake here, it's bleak, it's dark, it's ugly looking. This is a really lazy movie that fails on every single level. The action sequences aren't fun. The characters aren't well written. The direction is terrible. The writing is terrible. The elements they add to make this their own thing are fucking awful. This is a terrible, terrible movie. This is one of the worst remakes ever. I mean, it's not even bad for the fact that it's a PG-13 remake. I mean, that was going to kill it right from the get-go. And apparently they didn't learn their lesson, because the next movie from Paul Verhoeven that was an R-rated classic that got a PG-13 remake was the god-awful RoboCop remake, which we'll get to in 2014. But this is absolutely awful. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. It's a terrible movie. It fails on every single level. It's the prime example of taking a classic movie and giving it a pointless remake that nobody in the world was asking for at all. This movie sucks. This movie sucks the life out of you. It's a mess. I think you got the point. Total Recall is fucking awful. Absolutely a disgraceful film, so... we ain't getting any better with the next movie either. Let's talk about Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days.
School. This summer, to survive the holidays, you will need courage,
Think about getting back.
skill,
The key to a successful summer would be to stay one move ahead.
Are you sweating?
I've been playing sports.
and shorts. School's out,
I got it!
and the Wimpy Kid is here to stay. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days.
I'll give you this. It was better than it was certainly better than the first movie. At least these movies do get somewhat better as they go along here. I mean, the last one we looked at, the Roderick Rules one, I mean, it wasn't the worst ever, but it certainly was a lot better than the god-awful first movie. And this one might be the best one of the bunch, but even then I would say it's not worth it in my personal taste. But summer vacation has started, and Greg has his own ways of enjoying it with video games. However, his father wants him to go outside and stop playing video games. And his mother has her own plans, including a reading club. In addition, Greg can't get along with his father. The only thing they have in common is their hatred for the little cutie comics. Things only get worse after the stay at the beachside cabin goes totally wrong. Will anything go right? At least there's Holly Hills, who's the love interest in here. I believe that's Peyton List, I think, in one of her early film roles. Yeah, Peyton List. But, I mean, what more do you want me to say about this, man? I mean, this is a movie that's kind of... These movies don't really affect me as a whole. They're not made for me, per se, so I can't really criticize anybody for, like, for any kid that really likes these movies. I mean, like I said, these are not great movies. I mean, this one is the best of the bunch, but even then, these movies are not great, and they're pale imitations of the source material as a whole, which I'm glad they made them into animated films, because those ones are actually a lot better and fit right into what you expect when you think of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the book series. These movies, like I said, they're not for me. They're made for kids. They're made for fans of the book, and, you know, I mean, I can't really blame anybody for liking this movie, per se, but honestly, this is probably the best of the ones, but even then, I would not say, if you're not a fan of the series, you would probably be best to avoid this one like the plague, but I don't know. That's all I got for you in that one there, so Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days. Best one, not by that much, though, so let's go ahead and move on to our last movie that we have here, easily the best movie this week, and that is Celeste and Jesse Forever.
What are you two doing?
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
You guys have been separated for 6 months. You're getting divorced. And you spend every day together as if like it's no big deal.
We are separated and we're friends.
It's the perfect breakup.
Sorry.
Beth is so angry.
Ah, she is uber angry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much all you can really need to see to describe the premise of this movie. You have Celeste and Jesse, played by Rashida Jones and Andy Samberg, who have been best friends forever. They dated in high school, they got married, and now they're getting a divorce. Their best friends don't think they can maintain their friendship throughout the dissolution of their marriage, but Celeste and Jesse don't think there will be a problem. But that's before Jesse gets into a relationship that Celeste doesn't think he can handle, and Celeste finds it harder to move on than she originally thought. So, typical premise for a comedy like this. This was actually co-written by Rashida Jones and Will McCormick, who also would later go on to have a hand in the script for Toy Story 4. And, yeah, there's nothing groundbreaking about it per se. There's nothing that amazing about it, but it works because everybody in here really is giving it their all here. Everybody's giving a good performance in here. You do buy that Rashida Jones and Andy Samberg could really be together in a relationship like this. You know, you got good performances by Elijah Wood, Emma Roberts. You see a really good performance there from Ari Grainer, Chris Messina, Eric Christian Olsen, Chris D'Elia. So there is a lot of good talent all across the board in this movie. And I think there is a lot there to really appreciate about the film itself. Even as though it's very formulaic as a whole, even though it's a film we've kind of seen done to death before so many times, and certainly pales in comparison to other indie romantic comedies, it's a fun little movie for what it is. I think it works mostly because everybody's playing their parts to a T. There are good funny moments in there, some good emotional moments, good moments with the chemistry between the two leads. It's a really good movie. It's one I highly recommend checking out. Celeste and Jesse Forever. Definitely worth a watch. And thus, with all that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we take a look at another 5 movies. We have, and boy, Total Recall was bad, but the big new release for the next week is not any better. Jeremy Renner, fresh off of his success with The Avengers, takes over the role of Jason Bourne in The Bourne Legacy, a movie that you would think would work because the other Bourne movies were so great. And then, yeah, you see the movie, and then you realize, yeah, this ain't working out very well. So we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the political comedy from director Todd Phillips. Actually, no, this is Jay Roach. I beg your pardon. I'm getting all the names wrong here. Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis starring in the political comedy The Campaign. We also have Meryl Streep, Tommy Lee Jones, and Steve Carell starring in the romantic comedy Hope Springs. Nitro Circus comes to the big screen with Nitro Circus the movie, trying to get on the Jackass route. And we have Spike Lee's sort of sequel to Do the Right Thing. It's him playing the same character of Mookie. Red Hook Summer. Is it as good as that? Is it as good as Do the Right Thing? I'll tell you right now, no. But is it bad? We'll touch on that tomorrow and find out for ourselves. But we'll take a look at those 5 films tomorrow. So with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the last episode we did. So with all that said, I'm off. Whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.